when you leave your home and you go to these places and you see these things, you witness these events, when you come back, you are not the same. Coming home has always been the hardest part. I used to never think about it, about why do you go to these places? Why do you risk your life? Why do you expose yourself to images, sensations, smells, sounds, touch, taste, whatever it may be, things that will impact your life forever? And there's really only one answer. It's a mission, because we know that a story needs to be told and we believe in change. You're hoping that somehow by following truth, by pursuing it as best you can, that you might possibly make a difference. It's actually not just mission though. It's about passion. You put passion and mission together and you become unstoppable. My first overseas assignment was to photograph the FDN Contras. President Reagan at the time called them freedom fighters. They were fighting against the regime in Nicaragua that had ousted Somoza. So in Nicaragua they called the freedom fighters Somocistas. But that was my first trip, and I went to Honduras and waited around for 3 weeks in this very secret situation until I got a call from the FDN, the rebels, to say, let's go. It was my first conflict assignment, and it was grueling. It was deathly hot, and even though I was in pretty good shape as a young man, I really suffered on that trip. It was tough. In so many ways, it is a young person's game, and yet I remember I was in Peru, and I remember I was covering a protest and was running desperately and running out of breath, and I remember thinking, I may have even said it to myself out loud, I'm too old for this. Well, I was in my early 30s. And then came the Gulf War, and the first Gulf War and the ground war, and I was putting on my chemical warfare suit at like 3 in the morning. I don't know where the hell I am. I'm somewhere in a desert somewhere, and I'm about to do something, and 1 part of 1 million, only 1 part in a million of nerve gas will kill me. So, and I'm thinking, I'm too old for this. So over the years, I've always thought I'm too old for this, right down to Iraq, the last conflict I covered. I was thinking, I'm too old for this. But, you know, in so many ways, you never really are.
Got elements of the 11th Infantry Division looking for a fight.
It wasn't a difficult thing for me to consider video, simply because I never established in my mind the idea, the notion that I'm a photographer, and that's video. I didn't see it that way. I thought, I'm a journalist.
Find out any intel they got, any target.
They're off station, they couldn't find anything.
To be there and photograph something, you know, hopefully you make a change, but let's be honest, sometimes it doesn't happen. Not in the way you want it to happen. And so I started something. I would wait and see what the reaction was, and if it wasn't sufficient enough for me, then once the story was done, it's published, I'm finished with it, now I become an activist. I get involved. I don't just shoot a photograph, I swing a hammer. This photograph of a dead Iraqi soldier really spoke to me, because I have a belief that everyone has dignity, and that dignity extends even unto death. And interestingly, I actually got in a bit of trouble here in the United States for my approach to photographing the dead in war. I was always looking for something that would tell something more about that human being than just here's a dead body. I think there's a place for that. There's a place for the extreme, the sensational, the titillating dead body, perhaps. But it's, generally speaking, it's going to have less impact than something that really speaks to the human being. So I stand on that, and I got some criticism, but it doesn't matter, because I know something that absolutely is true, is that at the end of the day, when all is said and done, and for the years that go on after I take that photograph, I'm the one who wakes up in the morning and has to look at myself in the mirror and say, did I do the right thing? All the rest don't. So I'll never worry too much about the critics.